the fact that Ryan, has gone through 3 top trainers that would have done a great job, Eddie Reynoso, Joe Goosen, and Derek James.
Correct.
And he's not training with neither of them. He's training with his dad.
Did Ryan Garcia ever allow those trainers to be the boss?
That's why he's back with his dad, because he's the boss. That's why.
Yeah.
Look, Joe Goosen, I know Joe Goosen. My brother used to train with him. He's not gonna just let you get away with stuff like that. Derek James shouldn't either. Eddie Reynoso doesn't need. He's made so much money with Canelo that if you want to come to me, it's gonna be under my rules. And if that didn't work, then Ryan's back. So that's I give that big advantage to Barrios to even pull that off.
See, that's the thing about boxing, and Big Baby Miller pointed it out, because there's no structure. We need some kind of structure. In the NFL, the guy has to sit there for the media interview. He shows up on time. He's got to do it. And to give you an NFL analogy, think about the Broncos, right? When they had Russell Wilson over there and he had his own office and everything. And it was nothing, it was dysfunctional. Then they hired Sean Payton.
Cut it out.
As a coach, that's like going to train with Goosen or going to train with a world-class trainer, right? And you knew as soon as Sean Payton got there, no one's going to have their own office, and you turn around a couple years later, and they're great, they're in the playoffs, right? That's the thing in boxing, when fighters want it comfortable, right? Sometimes when Miguel Cotto would want to train in certain places because it was more comfortable for him, I thought, I want to see the Miguel Cotto when it's uncomfortable, right? And Cotto's a great fighter, of course, and a serious person, but the fighter really has a little too much control when they reach a certain level sometimes of their own career, which is good in one way, but in another way can limit them athletically. Because boxing is not a company.
Max Kellerman breaks down the Ryan Garcia versus Mario Barrios fight, stressing that Ryan's raw talent alone won't be enough against Barrios without discipline, structure, and consistent training.
Is not a comfort business.
But do you think it's more of his opponent, where maybe I could get away with training with my dad, compared to if I'm fighting a top dude?
It'd be a big mistake to underestimate him.
Right, and it's like everyone thought he was going to win that fight, and Rolly just outboxed him. Rolly outboxed him and looked good doing it. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's crazy. I wish that Ryan, because he's so talented, I wish he would stick to a coach and really just follow the instructions.
Ryan gonna win this fight. He gonna win this fight.
Max and Robert Garcia praise Ryan's skills but warn that trainer instability hinders his growth, especially against Barrios' dedication. Meanwhile, both fighters are issuing warnings to each other ahead of the fight.
Same thing as everybody says, left hand, make sure that's up, you gotta protect it, blah, blah, blah. Like, that's what I would imagine he's saying, and gotta take that away. It's probably, little things like that. They drill a lot of just keeping the hands up all day long, so it's like here, 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 but this freestyle type of boxing, with technique is gonna overwhelm this man.
It was a great experience. He's definitely one of a kind. I took a lot from that fight, just being there with somebody with his timing, his skill, his speed. Yeah, just gonna use that, in every way, to grow as a fighter.
Your opponent on the 21st, Garcia, hasn't actually won a fight officially since 2023. He's been through a lot of controversies, the scandal with Haney, and then the loss against Rolly Romero. What do you make of all that?
I don't make much of all the defend.
So you're looking to put on a big performance stylistically. What you're going to come with?
Stylistically, I think this is going to be very.
Mario Barrios vows to exploit Ryan Garcia's style, targeting every weakness he's observed and remaining determined to defend his belt relentlessly. But Ryan Garcia says he feels no different after his trainer left and remains focused on preparing for
that day. And if that's the way like this fight goes, if it ends in a bloody battle, then it does. And I'm never shied away from that.
I respect that. I honestly do. I do see that in him. He definitely gives everything he got in that ring, and it's dope.
Ryan Garcia's training campsites and sounds showcase intense workouts, sharp combinations, focused drills, and serious preparation in Los Angeles.
Lock up top 3. Lock up top 3. Lock up top 3, 2. Yeah. One time. 5, 6.
Ryan Garcia powerfully hits the punching bag during an intense training session. Mario Barrios insists he's fully defensive, determined not to let Ryan Garcia steal his belt while protecting his championship pride.
Just to go out there and defend.
So you put on a big performance, stylistically, what we're going to come with?
Garcia, he's explosive, he's dangerous, and but I think on a boxing level, there's no competing with us. I think I'm the better fighter. And I'm looking, to go out there and show that on fight night.
You just said you're the better fighter. Who's going to put more on the line with your title or his credibility?
Wade Plemons talks about the southpaw position, noting how it changes a fighter's approach in the ring. He appreciates seeing Ryan's analytical side, the version of him who studies opponents carefully before big fights. Wade mentions that Ryan has been watching fighters like Keith Thurman and Abel Ramos to prepare for Mario Barrios, emphasizing that both gave him tough nights, lessons from those fights to handle Barrios, who is known as one of the best finishers in boxing.
Tough nights for Mario Barrios, but I'm interested to see what Ryan takes away from those fights. What can Ryan and his style, that kind of freestyle boxing he says he does, what can he implement from either of those guys to beat Barrios?
One of the best finishers in boxing. Like, I know you didn't finish Devin Haney, but you had him drowned.
Saved him. I should have knocked in you. You will never box again if we fight again, and you know that. And I have vowed to that. If we fight again, you will never box again. I promise you that.
Gee, this is what I'm saying, bro. We need this fight. I've said it so many times.
Ryan reflects on his previous fight with Devin Haney, admitting that although he had Haney drop during the match, he didn't finish him due to conditioning issues. He regrets not knocking him out in the 11th round, acknowledging that he was holding back and playing around too much. Ryan insists that next time he will be fully focused. Wade responds intensely, warning that if they fight again, Ryan could be finished and may never box again. He emphasizes the importance of the matchup, calling it a fight that could be the biggest in America. Both acknowledge the high stakes, and the conversation ends with mounting anticipation as the fight approaches, just 9 days away. If you want, I can also. Mario Barrios discusses Ryan Garcia as an opponent with respect for his speed, power, and confidence. He acknowledges that Ryan has had an unusual recent period in the ring, noting the lifeless loss to Roy Romero and the spectacular victory over Devin Haney. Barrios also highlights the distractions surrounding Ryan, such as the test controversy, which could have affected him mentally. Despite these ups and downs, Barrios ultimately expresses that he wishes Ryan well. He adds that fighters call the shots, and trainers and everyone around them are often just yes men. That's a problem, he stresses. No matter how good a trainer you are, if a fighter has a boss-like attitude or surrounds themselves with yes men, there's nothing anyone can do to fix it. That wraps up today's video. Stay tuned for more.